Okay. This is more normal. Yeah.
Testing, testing.
Right. Being mindful of something, right, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Jeez. What's that?
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It's April 1st, 7:30 p.m. Would you please join me in a moment of silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance? Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Here.
Mrs. Cooper. Here. Mrs. Crawford. Here. Mr. Ghost.
Here.
Mr. Grumney.
Here.
Mr. Long.
Here.
7 present. We have quorum.
I just had 2 items on the agenda. Under new and unfinished business, we'll cover the moratorium on data centers. And there's a third reading 2026.06 in ordinance. I'm going to make a motion to remove the emergency language, and also on 2026.07, which is a second reading. Same on that. Just wanted to mention that to council. All right, minutes, March 18th, 2026. I'll make a motion. Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
March 25th, 2026, special meeting. This is the state of the city. I'll make a motion on the minutes.
Second.
Great turnout. Thanks to staff for all the coordination. Great job. Also want to give special recognition to Jake and his team. They didn't get too much coverage in the state of the city, but I know the team that really does it all. I wanted to specifically take a moment to recognize them, especially for the snow removal this past year, gearing up for another, a big landscaping and mowing season. And they're the pseudo parks team as well. So great job to Jake and his team.
And they're hiring seasonal help for the summer.
Right.
So if anybody wants to join them, good team to work with.
Good too. Thank you. Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long. 7 yeas, motion approved.
All right, next item on the agenda is the visitors section. How do you want to do this, Mr. Hennessy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we can go in the order in which they signed up, I'll call it off your name. We do just have a handful. Again, it doesn't preclude anyone from speaking. We're just again trying to help make sure we can manage this public comment section just a little bit more. So the first one, actually, this individual wants to speak about the PCD on Sunbury Meadows and Peacock. So I should clarify, that's an important point. The applicant withdrew this application and it's not on the council agenda, but the first speaker did, I think, want to at least speak to that. Is it Ryan Chmielewski? Yeah, come on up, Mr. Chmielewski.
For the public or for the visitors, come on. Just wanted to give a little bit of ground rules. If you can, please state your name and your address and limit your comments to 3 minutes, please. Thank you. We'll start a timer whenever you're ready.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel retired Ryan Chmielewski. I live at 1595 Meadow Court here in Sunbury, and my property abuts the Bluestone undeveloped A1 property there at Sunbury Meadows and Peacock. We have gotten a notice that we had a public meeting tonight, which is why half the neighborhood's here. So I just wanted to talk briefly about, we have not heard back after the zoning board from Bluestone. Apparently they made some changes that I saw online today. Most of those changes are non-consequential. They still hope for a spot zoning approval to make their PCD. The city ordinance speaks of strict compliance with standards, but they asked for divergences in order to fit 4 different businesses on that land and move things within 10 feet. For instance, the parking lot that would be at the border of my property. The noise and traffic impacts will be huge. We're already hearing the noise because they cut down the trees already when they move the power lines. If you look at the zoning map, it looks like an island in the middle of a residential area. I again think that it's in contradiction to what Sunbury is trying to do with the town square and the other commercial developments. It'll be in competition with that. So I asked the board to take into account their property rights, but property rights are a bundle and they're not absolute. And that's what the zoning is for, is to let neighbors be good neighbors. We hope that they would come to us again and talk about it. We hope that they don't use their divergences to encroach on other property. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sure.
All right, next up, Nicole Shipley.
I wanted to give one piece, just slight feedback for anybody who is here for the PCD. Mr. Hennessy did mention the applicant did withdraw. And for the record, the Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously vote to not approve. So thank you for the feedback. Continue, please. I'm sorry.
My name is Nicole Shipley, 5645 Mosaic Way in Westerville. My husband and I are building a home in Miller Farm subdivision. And I have a background in the field of cardiology with both Duke and Emory universities. My husband has managed data centers all over the world. Data center developers are pursuing alternative power options instead of the grid. Unfortunately, these power sources, such as gas-powered data centers, contribute to even greater negative health impacts. In California, data centers that have been in place for several years are seeing so many health problems that they are scrambling to try to turn this health crisis around. The University of California, Riverside has a very helpful study published on this. Not every hyperscaler does business the same. Look at how Amazon is doing business in other communities in Ohio and around the country. Microsoft recently announced that they will no longer be using non-disclosure agreements. They want to include the communities in the conversations regarding power and water where they operate. How is Amazon doing business with Sunbury? Google is investing in renewable energy and battery storage. What direction do you see Amazon going with powering their data centers? We are watching this happen in Hilliard right now as Amazon is installing 228 natural gas powered fuel cells there. They have no reservation about building a gas plant near homes and schools. Require Amazon to use renewable energy sources. Instead of diesel backup generators, require cleaner, more reliable energy sources like long duration battery storage paired with renewable energy. They are absolutely able to do this, and it is a reasonable requirement. I am asking you not to approve power from fossil fuels or diesel backup generators. By not approving these, it will result in more positive health outcomes for both Sunbury and Galena. Let us learn from communities such as those in California. I urge Sunbury to be one of the front runners in requiring renewable energy sources that will significantly lessen the negative health and environmental impacts for our area of Ohio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Christine Gilman.
Hi, I'm Christine Gilman, 852 Mill Run Drive. And I'd just like to talk about the question of why now, why people are speaking out after a public meeting's already held. And I think it's for a lot of the same reasons that as of early 2026, at least 48 data center projects were blocked or stalled, an 8-fold increase from just 6 in 2024. In the United States, between May 24 and June 25 alone, at least 36 projects were blocked or delayed, disrupting $162 billion in investment. 18 Ohio communities have enacted or are considering moratoriums. Local resistance citing environmental concerns, grid stress, high electricity costs, and water usage has been a driving factor. AI data centers and hyperscalers are causing lawmakers at all levels to pause. Zoning discussions began in 23. At that time, little was known about these AI data centers. 23 was a landmark year for AI infrastructure investment, and we need to acknowledge and respect that the data center climate has changed dramatically. Information has become available no one had in 2023. You all included. I'm not insinuating you things that we did not. You guys did not know either. Information has become available and we can't be blamed for not opposing something we didn't know was coming. According to Sunbury's data summer FAQ page, which was released in 24, a data center is a facility of network computer service used by organizations for the remote storage, processing, or distribution of large amounts of data. If I saw that, I'd say that. And per the zoning code, data centers are a permitted use of this land owned by AWS. Traditional data centers. It says nothing about hyperscalers or AI data centers. They are not listed. These are not what the Sunbury people agreed to. Well, accurate Sunbury's description, if it included the information gathered since the 2023 AI boom, which again, no one had, the definition could say a facility that uses an unprecedented amount of water, hundreds of thousands of gallons per day, 80% of which is evaporated and gone. Water scarcity is a real possibility. Hazardous forever chemicals can be dumped into creeks and streams as permitted by the EPA. Electricity bills may increase up to 25% over the next 5 years. These centers will create low frequency noise that varies for miles. The noise will affect children, wildlife, developing fetuses, pregnant people, elderly individuals, and those with chronic respiratory or cardiovascular disease. Backup diesel generators will run periodically. These will be in your neighbor's backyard and from 1 mile from where your children go to school. I think everyone would have opposed sooner. No one knew then, but everyone knows now. Growth will come and you can explore other options. You should lead by example and not be another city that just went along with our acres.
Okay. All right, next up, Larry Toady.
Said you call me that suit. My name is Larry Toady and I live on Vance Valley Road. In the last, 45 days, I've got to talk to hundreds of our community members. And they're just amazing. I mean, you heard the speakers tonight. I mean, we've got a lot of amazing people in this community and I'm just at awe to see them happen. But this data center thing, I think, has created a lot of hopes. And it's caused a lot of pain in our community. And I want to thank the mayor for doing the moratorium. I think that was a brilliant move. And I think it's a very good first step to healing this room. So thank you. And I'd like to make a suggestion for the June town hall, what you're thinking about. All right. I really think this community has a long way to go to heal. And I think it should be just about us. Please don't bring in Amazon. Don't bring in AEP. Mayor, tell us about what you thought about 2 years ago. Maybe the school board will come talk to you. Get a big room because we filled this one up. All right. And bring in as many people as want to come and talk to us. And let's talk together as a community so that we can hear all the wonderful ideas. Like you heard 2 great speakers tonight. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people that want to talk. So give that some thought as you think about June, because I think this community has a lot of healing in this space. And there's a lot of feelings and a lot of people that still want to talk to you. So we need a bigger room. Thank you. Have a good night.
Fair. Thank you.
That was the last name on the list, so if there are other speakers.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak with city council this evening?
I'll say something.
Come on up, sir. If you can, state your name and your address, please. Just come on up and you'll state your name and your address, please.
Hi, my name is Greg Variotti. I live here in Sunbury, over on Little Leaf Circle.
Okay.
So I didn't have anything planned, but listening to everybody just sparked some thoughts. I'm originally from Ohio, born and raised, and just moved here to Sunbury in 2022 with my family. And we've been just seeing everything that's been going on over the last few years. Just the incredible amount of change that has happened in a short time. We used to live in an area that was small like this and actually went through a very similar expansion in a very short amount of time. It was a very liberalized approach to what we saw as new businesses coming in, even apartment complexes, et cetera, that had come in and established themselves. And it completely changed the face and the footprint of the city. So My point is, and I don't want to sound, I guess this word I'm going to use is probably going to be considered by some as real negative, but all these builders and all these big companies I've effectively coined as parasites. So if you just look at the definition of a parasite and what it does is it will come in, it will find its host, and it will do to the host what it itself needs to do in order to survive and live and do what it wants to do without really much thought or consideration for the host itself. So I just ask that the council just keep that in mind as we continue to bear with one another all the changes and the changes that may be unforeseen at this point. Just please keep in mind that there's always going to be smiles and assurances that, you know, they're keeping our well-being in mind. But a lot of these entities, companies, and individuals aren't from Ohio. They come here for a short time and then they're gone. So please, I'm sure there's a lot of people here that are actually from Sunbury and from Central Ohio that have seen their city change in a very short amount of time. Once it's changed, you can't get it back. It's done. So for what it's worth, thank you for the time, and thanks for everybody who's also speaking. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to speak with city council?
He's later on the agenda. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
All right.
We're good.
You were saying no. Okay, good deal. All right, we're on to committee reports. Mr. Ghost?
None tonight, sir.
Mrs. Crawford?
No.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes, we had a Parks and Rec meeting earlier this evening, and we have a couple events coming up. The Memorial Day market's coming up. We have a couple disc golf events coming up on April 25th is the Light It Up. That'll be in the evening, and we'll talk about that later in council because we need to approve that because it's a park event after dark. And we also talked about there's going to be a couple fishing derbies. So for the public too, there's going to be a fish drop at the reservoir on Friday, May 1st is when we're going to get more fish. And then on May 2nd, there's a derby, and June 6th, there's going to be a derby as well. As you all know up here, most of you probably know J.R. Smith is construction has started. One thing that's really neat, and I don't know if you guys have all seen this yet, but we can get you a copy. We have a copy of all the parks in Sunbury, and it's just kind of handy to have. So if you'd like a copy, just let Alyssa know. She can shoot you one over. Arbor Day is coming up on the 24th, and we're going to have a little event around that. It's probably not going to be on Arbor Day because that's on a Friday, but we have partnered with the Delaware Soil and Water, and they have like 100 little seedlings they're going to give out to kids, and we're going to do a tree planting demo with the city arborist, and it should be a nice little event. When that is confirmed, we'll get that out on social media. And we did a nice recap of the Parks Master Plan. I had asked staff to prepare something to show because our Parks Committee has 2 new members of council to it. And so we just went over where we've been, how we got the master plan, what we've done so far, and what we could maybe do in the future. So it was really nice, I think, for our new members to kind of really get a deep dive into our park system.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome. Great. Anything else?
Well, I think so. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, wait, I did want to mention, sorry, regarding the April Fools Memorial Day market, because I looked at Grumney over there. The American Legion and the VFW typically start at J.R. Smith Park. So
Right.
Mr. Hennessy is working with them. They think they have found another plan. They didn't mention it in the committee meeting because it's still being worked out. The American Legion and VFW kind of have to get them some things approved.
Okay.
But they're going to have a plan. They're still going to do it. And then the hope is next year to go right back to JR and have a nice shelter house. So just a transit year.
Great.
Yep. Okay.
Excellent. Thank
Thanks.
you. Mr. Capel.
Yes, we had our services committee meeting immediately preceding this meeting. We spent a bit of time talking about traffic and transportation planning. We've had a number of plans already initiated. Of course, we had Safe Streets for All last year. We're moving forward on active transportation plan. On that, we are looking to put together a steering committee similar to what we did with Safe Streets for All last year, although it'll be a little bit faster, a little bit shorter on that. It's basically with the intention of updating our master transportation plan and having more consistency across our projects and knowing how they impact our traffic and our transportation across the city. Then we talked about public outreach in regards to projects that are occurring within the city and how we're going to reach out to residents and to local businesses with information on any projects that are happening in their areas, as well as posting information online, frequently asked questions, so that we all can refer them to those materials in the event that you get any questions about them. We talked through a lot of our major projects at that point. One of the ones that I want to hit on, though, is the East Granville widening project. One of the things that's going to come up is talk about closure and detours. Carla had said that it's being encouraged to close the project area entirely to traffic. That'll take it to a 12 to 18-month project, potentially cut 6 months time off of the overall project, but it will, of course, create a headache if we have a full closure there. In other updates, we should see in a budget revision in the future an ask from Jake for compact track loader purchase that'll total $88,000. And then we had some updates about our ongoing projects. I will say that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to get information about a potential ribbon cutting for the Columbus Street parking lot. So that'll be a nice one to have. That's all my updates.
Great. Thank you, sir. Mr. Grumney? Mr. Long?
Yeah, I can give an update on zoning. So zoning happened back on the 23rd of March. It was a pretty long one. I think it went about 3 hours. We had a few things on the agenda. One was for a home occupation for Little Critters Pet Sitters. That one was not approved at zoning. We had Kittner Crossing come in for their final plat on the second phase of their development. That is out by Cheshire, for those not familiar. That one was approved. And then we had a preliminary presentation on what is previously called, we'll say, Miller Farms, but understand that there's another Miller Farms out in Galena, so they will be renaming that. But a new home builder, Drees Homes. So if you ever heard of them, they're coming in. This is for a proposal of a potential development out by the Big Walnut Elementary School. About 27 homes. Lots are probably about similar to, I think we said, like Magnolia Park size of lots. So that's just sharing, getting thoughts from us on what they want to do there. We had 32 visitors come up and speak to us. It was a full house, not just upstairs, but downstairs. And I know that we're considering what that could look like as far as being able to receive those visitors in a larger arena.
That's right.
Is there anything you would add to that?
We're going to add a fourth floor on. Fools. We are working on the larger venue. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Long. Any questions? All right, next item on the agenda is the city manager report. Mr. Hennessy.
All right, the public meeting venue is a good segue. I have reached out to Big Walnut Local Schools about moving our next city council meeting to one of the schools. I'm looking at the high school or the middle school. They're confirming for me that the space is available in the auditorium, in one of those auditoriums. And then I've also reached out to them about moving the June or establishing a time for the June forum, which was referenced by one of the speakers earlier, but we've also talked a little bit about trying to create a little bit more of a community gathering, create a little bit more of a discussion about the data centers. So those are the two dates that I'm looking at for the moment in terms of moving. Part of the reason to move the next council meeting is we anticipate the introduction of the moratorium legislation at that, and I assume we'll have a fair number of folks from the community who want to comment on that. So anyway, so stay tuned for that. I'll let you know. I did include in the manager's report a summary of the data center public comments that we've received, that we had received at the prior zoning commission meeting. So the mayor invited me up to kind of talk a little bit about how staff was looking to address the issues that have been raised by the community. I put in there the talking points that I used. They were developed by our planning staff. So you can just begin to get a sense of at least the way that I've sort of generally am capturing the comments. Again, under the broad categories of things like, economic conditions, considerations, transparency, quality of life, environmental health issues, those types of things. But I did want to add to that as well, that we are keeping a more updated tracking sheet that includes the last planning. So we've got 2 planning and zoning commission meetings plus the last council meeting. So we have a more comprehensive list of the comments that we've received from the community. And again, we're sort of clustering them under those categories. So just FYI, we continue to track those and think that those will help to inform whatever public engagement activity occurs going forward, and also whatever adjustments might be made at the local level in some of our documents. So it's in there. If you've got questions, certainly let me know. But that's the document that I was talking from at the last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. We've also got the 2025 zoning recap report in the packet. So each year, the planning staff puts together a recap. Generally, we show you what's happening on the new build side, but the zoning recap really does try to capture all of what's going on with the planning and zoning activities. So take a look at that and let us know if you have any questions. The 2026 street improvement program. So the bid opening for that is on April 22nd. So we'll continue to keep you posted on that. The estimated cost of the project is $1.1 million, and that's the amount we have budgeted. So we talked about Cheshire Ditch sewer lining. We anticipate they will be in town next week. What day, we're not exactly sure, but we've talked about this project for a while. So keep your fingers crossed that the weather doesn't change dramatically between now and then. And then two things on public safety. We had talked a little bit about e-bikes, the motorized bikes, the electric vehicle or the electric, vehicles. Yeah, electric vehicles of some sort. I know the police department and city staff have been working with the legal team to draft something. We anticipate we'll have ordinance to bring to you at the April 15th meeting for consideration to begin the discussion on that. So. And then the final thing is the chief handed out the stats for the month. So you have those. I will note that the total number of calls for service, just a little short of 650 in March, up about 20% from the prior year. So our police department has been actively working issues. Chief, I don't know if there's anything you wanted to call out in particular on that or not.
Nope, we've got pretty much covered, and we have the speed sign data that should be available right.
All right, so questions for me?
Any questions for Mr. Hennessy? I encourage you to go and listen to the Zoom meeting. I know at least a few of you have already listened, but Mr. Hennessy did a good job summarizing comments that we've received so far, at least the clusters of comments. All right, any other items? All right, next item on the agenda. Resolutions, third reading, resolution number 2026.06, a resolution approving the expansion of the Sunbury New Community Authority District to include the Kintner Crossing Phase 1 development. Any questions on this? Make a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gross?
Yes.
Mr. Grubney?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Second reading, resolution number 2026.09, a resolution establishing a mayor's court special projects fund. Reading only. First reading, resolution number 2026.08, a resolution establishing a capital projects fund for the future construction of roadway improvements near the Kintner Crossing commercial development site. To reading only. Resolution number 2026.10, first reading, a resolution approving temporary flow monitoring and sewer capacity evaluation services with Burgess and Nyepel. Reading only. Resolution number 2026.11, a resolution approving geographic information systems, GIS, administration and support services with Mapped Out. All right, next we're on to ordinances, third reading, ordinance number 2026.06, an ordinance approving the final plat for Kintner Crossing Commercial and declaring an emergency. I'll first make a motion to remove the emergency language. Do you need anything else from me on that? Any more specific direction?
Motion to the vote.
Okay, I've got a motion to remove the emergency language.
Second.
Second by Mr. Long. Discussion? Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Anybody like to make a motion?
Motion on ordinance 2026.06.
Got a motion by Mr. Capel,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Crawford. Call.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Second reading, ordinance number 2026.07, an ordinance accepting a petition for annexation of territory consisting of 95.982 plus or minus acres of land located in Trenton Township, Delaware County, owned by Edgel E. Weaver and Michelle L. Weaver trustees, and declaring an emergency. The only item I wanted to mention is I'm going to remove the emergency. I'd like to make a motion to remove the emergency language on this.
Second.
Second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long,
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
We good? Was that the second reading? We're good. I don't need to reread that, right? Okay. All right, first reading, ordinance number 2026.08, an ordinance approving the final plat for Kintner Crossing Section 2. Reading only, ordinance number 2026.09, an ordinance awarding the contract for Little Walnut Creek Interceptor Phase 2A to Dirt Dog Excavating LLC of Ashland, Ohio. Okay, good deal. New and unfinished business, Sunbury Marathon partial street closure, September 12th, 2026.
Yeah, I can start this and, we do have the applicant here, Mr. Pratt, if anybody has any questions. I've spoken about this at a couple of council meetings. This is the marathon that Mr. Pratt is trying to bring to the area. It's gonna start at J.R. Smith Park. It's gonna go far out and hit multiple counties and jurisdictions and then loop around and come back and end at the square. So, Mr. Hennessy, we're looking for a street closure.
Yeah, so it would head east on Cherry, then up Walnut Street, and then it would jump on the trail. So the partial closure is Cherry and Walnut. We don't anticipate a complete closure. We just shut down half the street at any given time, out and in. This would happen on September 12th, and I think the time frame is roughly 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. During that period of time. I'm not saying that the whole time that the road would be unavailable, but that's the period of time in which we need to get the runners out and back.
Brad, can you come up to the mic just for a second? Thank you. I know you've met with our events and planning commission. Thank you for coordinating this. I'm really excited about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and the event and how it's coming about and what you need help with?
Great, yeah, thank you. And I'm happy to answer any questions you all have. So I'd love to give the information you want in particular, but yeah, my name is John Pratt. My wife Valerie and I have a stream of bringing this endurance event to this community. We're new here in the Sunbury area. We live up in Cardington. I work here in Sunbury. We worship here in Sunbury. It's been an amazing community, and we really think this is an event that getting a lot of traction and allow the local community to celebrate the gift of the trail that's here in our community and allow them to experience a pretty great an event that we expect will be a Boston qualifier marathon if approved by the city. And yes, we're making things line up for that. Yeah.
Awesome, great. Any questions for Mr. Pratt? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna go ahead and I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Cooper.
You want to race?
No. And this is for the Sunbury Marathon partial street closure on September 12th, 2026. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Mr. Hennessy, are there any other approvals that we need to have to get this moving along, or is this like the last major toll gate to make this official?
Yeah, I mean, this is the last major toll gate in our community. I know Mr. Pratt is working with emergency services up and down the route. We still do have to kind of walk through the medical emergency plan with our EMS team, but he has developed that plan. So yeah, I think in everybody else's approval, including like the Ohio to Erie Trail, has all been conditioned upon the city, agreeing to be kind of the host. So I think we're well on our way. So
If you need any help, please let us know. Great, thank you. Kinslow Disc Golf, Olentangy Disc Club, Light It Up event. This was referenced as
Yep.
April 25th, 2026. Mrs. Cooper,
Yep.
anything else?
No, with this, Olentangy Disc Club has been a good partner, that we have closed the park down for them before in the evening. They clean up after themselves. I don't expect any problems, so I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Crawford.
Parks.
Give it the credit.
This is what I'm presenting. I like it.
Motion by Mrs. Cooper, second by Mrs. Crawford. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Right, we'll come back to the executive session. Yeah, we'll go through and then I can discuss the moratorium and we can talk about anything else.
Nothing to report here.
Anything else?
Nothing before.
Right, nothing here, Capel.
I was just gonna say thank you for doing the State of the City address. It's not mandatory, not every city does that, but I think it's beneficial to our residents. And we were talking about it at the Parks Committee, the picture that you posted of Johnny Appleseed, the before and after, and just bringing that to light. I really appreciated seeing that. And I know it's a lot of work behind the scenes for staff and for you. So just thank you for doing it.
Of course, yeah, it's great.
Nothing here, sir.
All right, I'll just follow up on the moratorium. And the call to action for a moratorium. Wanted to get this on the agenda tonight. I felt like it was probably a good opportunity that we maybe just take a second to talk through what this means. My call to action is just that unless we act. My thought is that, and I've talked with Mr. Hennessy, Mr. Bream, I believe it's achievable that we can have legislation on the agenda, our next agenda. It would be a first reading. We can discuss if we want to accelerate that or not, but the bottom line is, anybody is in the business park, has land that's zoned. I'll just say all the stakeholders that, are want to zone their property as limited industrial or have zoned it. They're not going to force anything through. They're not trying to like jump the gun on this. So that's not going to happen. But if we want to fast track it at our next meeting, we can. Are we proposing a resolution or an ordinance?
Still under consideration, yeah.
Okay.
So either way, I mean, you can accelerate both timeframes, if you need to.
That'll be the formal portion of the moratorium, like the legally binding portion. What I want to just discuss this evening is what I think is a proposed time frame. And I think I referenced this in the State of the City, but House Bill 646 in particular is being fast tracked and like government fast tracked. It probably won't be signed by the governor until, I don't know, late June, early July, but that is supposed to spin up a commission that should provide some information that, overarching guidance. I think it would be, I don't think it would be a good idea for us to lift a moratorium before that commission's results were proposed. So I think we follow behind that. How far behind, I don't know. The last I had heard from Representative Lear, many of the folks who were in the audience last week heard this in zoning as well, that they're looking to have their final results published by the end of the year. So I think, it's whatever that commission is plus some time for us to make sure we have, we're able to, either update our zoning code or add additional restrictions or whatever the things are that need to happen. So I think I'm saying at a minimum, the end of the year, but, you know, perhaps, you know, I don't think any longer than 12 months for us to be able to hold public forums and whatever those look like. I mean, there just has to be a separate body that is supporting our staff through this process. And what I mean is like either a committee or a commission of our own that's helping them guide that work. You know, public forums, getting objective analysis. We talked a lot in zoning about getting independent studies, independent research. We need to know a little bit more about what that looks like. Just over the past couple of weeks, I've really given it some thought about, you know, reaching out to what I think are objective institutions, you know, like Ohio State or Case Western or some of the, you know, universities. We have world-class, you know, higher education here that I'm sure they're studying all realms of artificial intelligence and data centers and the energy grid and pollution and health effects and all the things. You heard one of the speakers tonight say that her husband has worked in these. We need to know, like, from those people as well, like people that work in the field, but also, you know, people that look out for our health as well. So I'm rambling. I'm proposing towards the end of the year, probably no more than 12 months. I think that's the right time. Is there any discussion or thoughts on that?
If we implement a 12-month or end of the year, either way, and we find that we don't have the resources we need at the end of that, is it relatively easy to extend the moratorium?
I would say that's the way it's gonna be crafted is that you can extend it. You know, moratoriums are a legal thing. I mean, you do have zoning, you know, to have a moratorium, you have to have a justification for it. I mean, obviously with the national, state, local landscape and the new information that's coming out there, health, safety, welfare considerations that need to be studied, that's the justification for it. You know, as long as those things are unresolved, then I think the moratorium is appropriate. So I think I agree, you know, through the end of the year. I know when the end of the year was focused, I thought, well, don't make it December 31st because you're not going to want to deal with this, you know, in December over Christmas and New Year's and all that. And you're going to need time to react to, you know, what I've heard about that committee is they're being directed to have their report within 6 months of the date that they're created, that the bill's signed by the governor. If that's the end of June, it could be in November or December, but probably you're looking at into first quarter, I would think, next year at the minimum, to really have the ability to get what they're going to be able to provide, analyze it, and then, you know, react to it appropriately. So, but to answer your question, yes, I think you could extend it if the legal requirements are met. And what I'm seeing, and based on what they're doing at the state level, which there are a lot more resources there than what we have here in Sunbury, and I'm not diminishing what we have here. We've got a lot of good resources. But I'm really hopeful that they're going to produce some data that can be useful not only to Sunbury, but to all of Central Ohio and Ohio in general. I mean, it's a topic that Ohioans are concerned about. So
perhaps we're looking at March 31st of next year, right, end of first quarter.
So a month from now.
That's what it sounds like. And I'm going to rattle off what I think a moratorium is. I know there have been a lot of communities that have enacted these. I've researched some of the language. They're not all the same, but just the things I want to make sure it captures. And I think we're generally all in agreement with this, and through individual conversations, any advancement of any development agreements related to data centers. Again, I'm going to just say the three and then just a blanket statement, what a data center is. Data center, artificial intelligence data center, or hyperscaler. I hope that's broad enough. Process of any applications related to rezonings. I'm trying to think of what else, how else we capture this, just so there's no cracks to be slid between.
Is that rezoning specific to an area or all of Sunbury?
It's for all of Sunbury. That would have to do with like data center, AI data center, hyperscalers.
Okay.
I believe there's only one district that permits it, limited industrial district, right? And It's nowhere else. And there are certain provisions about the amount of acreage and things like that. So I think we can just say based on the criteria that I originally stated, I don't think we have to get really specific on the district or location. Does staff generally agree? Okay. Are there any other recommendations on what we should include in the moratorium? The legislation? Anything, Mr. Hennessy?
No, I would just say that Dave and I have talked a little bit about kind of some administrative tasks that happen along the way as well, that maybe we would want to capture in the moratorium as well, but we're still working through that.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll see that on our agenda as a first reading. We can discuss the expediency, if we want to expedite it, or if we want to let it go 3 readings, etc. All right, sounds good. Thank you. All right, I think that's all I had for new and unfinished business. Anything else? We do have a need to go into executive session. This is per Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing. I'll make the motion to do that. We can have time to discuss who we need in this meeting.
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Cooper. Mr. Hennessy, who do we need in this?
So Mr. Bream and Mr. Stannard.
Okay. And then, or do we plan on taking action? Do you expect that we'll take action?
I think there is an action.
Okay. Then, I don't know how long this is going to last, but we do plan on taking action after this executive session. So we will re-enter, we will reconvene, and then obviously the public is welcome to come back at that point. All right. Any other discussion, comment? Roll call?
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford? Yes. Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Great. And if you're waiting for the action
That is the code from this. Oh, no.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
Second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Amber Swain, declare the position of clerk of council as vacant, and direct the city manager to fill the position as needed.
Second.
Second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion. Roll call.
St. John.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second, we have a meeting on April 15th. We'll let you know the location. Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford.
Yes.
Mr. Ghost.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney.
Yes.
Mr. Long.
Yes.
Mr. Capel.
Yes.
7 yeas, motion approved.